I'm Melinda Ferguson. I'm a physician and a gynecologist who practices here in Waynesboro. I have a solo private practice, so I'm also a taxpayer on my business in addition to that. I have 2 kids in the Waynesboro Public Schools. I have a daughter at Berkeley Glen who's in 3rd grade, and a son at K Collins who will be at Waynesboro High in the fall. And so I have a great deal of interest in the programs that we're going to be making available moving forward. The event that probably made me the most likely to be interested and to pursue the remainder of Jonathan Lovelady's term was when my son went to K Collins. He's in 6th grade. And he's a good student. He has nerd parents. He doesn't have a lot of choice. When he got there, he went into his honors English class and his math class. And I said, "Do you know anybody?" And he'd been at Westwood for kindergarten, 1st and 2nd. And he'd been at Berkeley Glen for the rest of his career. And he said, "I know everybody." I said, "How do you know everybody? How do you know everybody?" There's 1 child each from William Perry and Winona. And I thought, that is not right. There are smart kids at those schools. And for whatever reason, they're not getting the stuff at home that maybe they ought to be getting. And sometimes that's parents who have to work so much that they're not able to provide the additional educational experiences for their kids. But we as a school system still have a responsibility to step in and help. When you have schools that have 80% free and reduced price lunches, you have families that are very stressed to provide even the basics for their kids. And there are school systems around here that are much more fortunate than we are. You know, it's great to be Albemarle County and spend $5,000 per pupil more than we do, but we don't have that. I think part of what we need to do, a big part of what we need to do, is a recognition of who our kids are and the difficulties that they face. And we would all like it if everybody had fully employed parents with all the assets and all the resources that they need to have available, but we don't have that. If half of our kids have free lunches, we don't have that. And we're going to have to look at ways that we put all the assets that we possibly can towards those kids so that they are not essentially compromised for the rest of their lives by the start of their academic career. And that means that some kids need a lot more resources than others early on. And the way that you get that is that you have to have more teachers, you have to have more counselors, you have to have more guidance, and to do that costs money. I think the 3 core functions of government are safety, infrastructure, and schools. And if our schools need more, then we as a community who care about our kids have a responsibility to give them more.